So the next special contract is the contract of bailment, which covers section number 148 to 171 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. In that, section number 148 provides the definition of bailment. So what is bailment? It's a delivery of goods by one person to another person. So there must be what? Delivery of goods. So what is delivery of goods? A voluntary transfer of possession of the goods by one person to another person is called as what? A delivery of goods. The second word is what? Goods. So the bailment can happen only for a goods, that is a movable property. And section number 2, subsection 7 of the Sale of Goods Act provides a definition of goods. So bailment means a delivery of goods by whom? One person. To whom? Another person. This one person who delivers the goods to another person is called as bailor. The another person is called as what? Called as the bailee. For what? For some purpose. This purpose can be to keep the goods, that is safekeeping of goods in the warehouse, or to carry the goods from one place to another place, or to carry out some work, to do some work on the goods, that is to polishing or to repair it or for any other purpose. These are the purpose for which the goods may be delivered by one person to another person. So what is bailment? A delivery of goods by one person to another person for some purpose upon a contract. So there must be a contract between the parties that they shall, when the purpose is accomplished, once the purpose for which the goods have been delivered is accomplished, those goods must be returned back or should be disposed of, means sold or delivered, as per whose instruction? As per the directions of the person delivering them. I repeat, the person who delivers the goods is called as what? Bailor. It means as per whose directions? A bailor direction. So what is bailment? Delivery of goods by whom? One person to whom? Another person, upon a condition that the goods shall be, upon a contract that the goods shall be, when the purpose is accomplished, should be returned back or otherwise disposed of according to the directions of the bailor, that is the person who is delivering them. Section number 149 provides the provisions with respect to delivery. So 148 bailment, 149 delivery. So what is delivery? A transfer of possession by one person to another person is called as delivery. There are two types of delivery. One is actual delivery, that is where a physical possession of the goods is transferred. So when the physical possession of the goods is transferred by one person to another person, it is called as actual delivery. Second one is what? A constructive delivery. So where the delivery happens by an act or by admission, which has the legal effect of delivery of goods by one person to another person, it is called as a constructive delivery. So to be a bailment, there must be a delivery. And what is delivery? Delivery means a transfer of possession of goods by one person to another person. And what are the types of delivery? Actual delivery and constructive delivery. So when physical possession is transferred, it is called as actual delivery. When the possession is transferred either by acknowledgement or by conduct, it is called as a constructive delivery. So 148 bailment, 149 delivery, 150 duty. Section number 150 imposes the duty on the bailor. So the bailor is bound to disclose all the faults in the goods bailed. So it is a duty of the bailor to disclose the fault in the goods bailed to the bailee. And this duty can be classified into two different categories. If it is a gratuitous bailment, what are the duties available? Then in case of non-gratuitous bailment, what are the consequences? As you know, a gratuitous bailment means a bailment without considerations, and bailment can be with consideration or without consideration. Both are valid. Generally, any agreement without considerations are void. But however, section number 25 provides the exception to it. What are the exception? One of the exception is a bailment. A bailment can be with consideration or without consideration. So if it is a gratuitous bailment, that is a bailment without consideration, then the bailor should disclose all the faults which he is aware of. Means the bailor has a duty to disclose only the fault which he is aware of, which will materially interfere with the usage of those goods or which will expose the bailee to an extraordinary risk. And if it does not make the disclosure of this fault, which will either materially interfere with the usage of them or it will expose the bailee to the extraordinary risk, then the bailor is responsible to the bailee for which whatever the losses directly arising from such fault. Important, directly arising from such fault. So it means section number 73 of the Indian contract is available, applicable. So only the losses which are directly occasioned due to the non-disclosure of fault by the bailor to the bailee, for such fault or such losses, who is responsible? Bailor is responsible to bailee. Section number 150. I repeat, 150 provides the duty on the bailor to disclose all the faults in the goods bailed. And these duty can be categorized into two types. One is gratuitous, another one is non-gratuitous. If it is a gratuitous bailment, then the bailor has a duty to disclose all the faults which he is aware of, which will materially interfere with usage of them by the bailee, or it will expose the bailee to the extraordinary risk. If it is not disclosed, then the bailor is responsible to the bailee for all the losses which are directly arising from such fault. Section number 150. And if it is non-gratuitous bailment, what is non-gratuitous bailment? Where there is a consideration for both the parties. That is called as what? A non-gratuitous bailment. That is a bailment for a reward. So in case of bailment for reward, the bailor is responsible for the loss which is directly arising from such fault, whether he is aware of it or whether he is not aware of it. So gratuitous bailment, bailor is responsible only if he is aware of it. Non-gratuitous bailment is responsible even if he is not aware of. Section number 150. Important. Based on this, they may ask question in the examination. So we discussed three section numbers: 148 bailment, 149 delivery, 150 duty. Okay. Then 151 Keru, OP Keru. So this is the point in our song. So 151 care, OP care. What is OP care? Ordinary prudence care. So the bailee is bound to take care of the goods which are bailed to him. As a man of ordinary prudence will take care of his own goods in a similar circumstances of the same bulk, quality or value. So if he has exercised this section number 151 care, then he is not responsible for any loss occasioned to the goods bailed. So section number 151 cast a responsibility on the bailee to take care of the goods as a man of what prudence? Ordinary prudence. Let us discuss. Section number 151 care. What care? OP care. 151 care. OP care. The bailee should take care of the goods as a man of what prudence? Ordinary prudence. Would take care under what circumstances? Similar circumstances of the same bulk, quality or value. That is section number 151. 152 bailee, not responsible bailee. So section number 152 provides that if the bailee has taken care of the goods as per section number 151, and if anything happens to the good, that is any loss, a destruction or a deterioration happens to the goods. You should remember this three words: a loss, a destruction or deterioration happens to the goods. Then who is not responsible? Bailee is not responsible because he has taken the care of section number 151. I repeat, section number 151 provides that the bailee is bound to take care of the goods as a man of ordinary prudence would in the similar circumstances take care of his own goods of the same bulk, quality and value. And if he has taken the care of a man of ordinary prudence, then who is not responsible? Bailee is not responsible for any loss or destructions or deterioration. Section number 152. 153 and 154 deals with a cancellation of contract by the bailor if the bailee acts which is inconsistent with the contract of bailment. 153 terminate, inconsistent terminate. So a contract becomes voidable at the option of the bailor if the bailee acts which is inconsistent with the bailment. Means if the bailee violates the terms of the bailment, a horse was bailed to be used for riding purpose, but the bailee uses it for pulling the cart. So in this case, the bailee acting which is inconsistent with the terms of the bailment, then the bailor can terminate it. That is, the contract becomes voidable. 153 terminate, inconsistent terminate. The contract becomes voidable at the option of the bailor if the bailee does anything which is inconsistent with the contract of bailment. This word inconsistent with the contract of bailment must be there in your answer if they ask question about section number 153. Clear? So 148 bailment, 149 delivery, 150 duty, 151 Keru, OP Keru, 152 bailee not responsible bailee, 153 terminate, inconsistent terminate. 154 usage, unauthorized usage. So if the bailee make use of the goods in the unauthorized way, then the bailor has the right to recover the damages from the bailee, that is compensation from the bailee. I repeat, if the bailee makes the unauthorized usage of the goods, any loss arising due to the unauthorized usage of the goods, then the bailee should compensate to the bailor. Section number 154. 154. So till 154 deals with the duties of bailor and bailee. 155, 156, 157 deals with mixture of goods. Okay, so in the song 148 bailment, 149 delivery, 150 duty, 151 keru, OP keru, 152 152 bailee, not responsible bailee. 153 terminate, inconsistent terminate. 154 usage, unauthorized usage. If the bailee make use of the goods in an unauthorized way, then the bailee is responsible to compensate the bailor for all the damage or loss arising due to the unauthorized usage of the goods. Next, 155 mixture with consent mixture. If the bailee mixes the goods bailed with him with his own goods with the consent of the bailor, then and if it is possible to separate it, it's possible to what? Separate it. Both the parties will have the interest in the mixed goods proportionate to their respective shares. Say if the bailor has bailed 50 kg of rice and the bailee has the 50 kg of rice, and if it both are mixed with the consent of the bailor, then the both of them will have an interest which is proportionate to their respective shares. That is 50-50. 155 mixture with consent mixture. 156 mixture without consent mixture. So if the bailee mixes the goods without the consent of the bailor, what are the consequences? So if the bailee mixes the goods with his own goods without the consent of the bailor, and if the goods can be separated, the property remains respectively with the bailor and bailee. But however, the bailee is bound to bear all the expenses of separation plus all the damages which is arising from the mixture. Section number 156. 157 mixture, inseparable mixture. So where the bailee mixes the goods of the bailor with his own goods without the consent of the bailor, and if it is not possible to separate or if it is impossible to separate, and in that scenario the bailor is bound to bailor should be compensated by whom? Bailee. It means the bailee is supposed to pay the compensation to the bailor. Section number 157. 157 mixture, inseparable mixture. So where it is not possible to separate, but the bailee has mixed the goods of the bailor with his own goods without the consent of bailor. So we have discussed till section number 157. 148 bailment, 149 delivery, 150 duty, 151 keru, OP keru, 152 bailee, not liable bailee, 153 terminate, inconsistent terminate, 154 usage, unauthorized usage, 155 mixture with consent mixture, 156 mixture without consent mixture, 157 mixture, inseparable mixture. So let us discuss the remaining provisions of the contract of bailment. 158 to 160, repay, restore, return. So RRR, triple R, repay, restore, return. So how to remember the sequence? So sometimes you get confused, like what if restore comes first, then repay comes? No. See, RE. E always comes first in the alphabets, correct, right? RE, repay, first, then restore, yes. P, first P comes, then S comes, then T comes, correct, right? P, Q, R, S, T. Yes or no? So repay first, then restore later, then after that what comes? The return comes. So 158 to 160, repay, restore, return. 158, repay. So in case of gratuitous bailment, what is gratuitous bailment? Without consideration, and the goods kept are carried or work to be done. Important hai these three terms. If it is a gratuitous bailment where the goods are to be kept, are carried, or work to be done by the bailee, and the bailee is to receive no remuneration, then in that scenario, all the necessary expenses incurred plus whatever the extraordinary expenses incurred, who should pay? The bailor shall pay. I repeat, If they ask question about the repayment of expenses by the bailor to the bailee, you should write as per section number 158. In case of gratuitous bailment, where the goods are to be kept, carried, or work to be done by the bailee, and bailee is to receive no remuneration, then the bailor shall pay all necessary expenses as well as extraordinary expenses. So the bailor is bound to bear both necessary expenses, that is ordinary expenses, as well as the extraordinary expenses. Section number 158. I have given a lot of examples for this in the class. You guys can go to the material. Okay. So 158, repay. So in case of gratuitous bailment, the goods are kept or carried or work done by the bailee, and bailee is to receive no remuneration, then the bailor shall repay necessary expenses as well as the extraordinary expenses. Then 159, restore. In case of gratuitous bailment, the bailor can terminate the bailment whenever he wants by giving notice to the bailee, and the bailee should restore the goods back to the bailor. I repeat, in case of gratuitous bailment, the bailee must restore the goods whenever the bailor demands. But however, if the bailee suffers the loss which is more than the benefit he has received out of the gratuitous bailment, then it is the duty of the bailor to compensate to bailee. We will discuss that later under the different section numbers. Next one, return. 160 provides the provision with respect to return. It is the duty of the bailee to return the goods without demand. Without what? Demands. To whom? To the bailor. Clear? And if it is time has expired, so when he is supposed to deliver the goods back or return the goods back, once the time is expired or the purpose is accomplished. I repeat, section number 160 provides that the bailee has a duty to return the goods back to the bailor without any demand once the time is expired or the purpose is accomplished. Section number 160. Next one, section number 161. 161, responsible, not returned, responsible. If the bailee defaults in the returning of goods to the bailor after the expiration of fixed period or the purpose is accomplished, then the bailee is responsible for all the loss, destruction and deterioration. Even if he has taken the reasonable care of section number 151, still the bailee is responsible. Why? Because he has not returned the goods back. Section number 161 provides that responsible, not returned, responsible. So who is responsible? The bailee is responsible if the goods are not returned for all the loss, destruction as well as deterioration. DDL, DDL je nahi hai, DDL, destruction and deterioration as well as the loss. 162, death, gratuitous death. What is gratuitous? Without considerations. So in case of bailment, if it is terminated by death of the bailor or the bailee. So in case of gratuitous bailment, the bailment is terminated, means it is cancelled either by the death of the bailor or by the death of the bailee. Next one, 163, increase, goods bailed increase. Any increase or profit happening on the goods bailed should be returned back by the bailee to the bailor unless there is a contrary intention in the agreement. So there is a classic example for this in the material. For example, if the shares are pledged with a bank and during that time the company has given the bonus shares. Those bonus shares belong to whom? To the shareholders, not to the bank. Because any goods bailed, if there is any increase or profit in the goods bailed, that should be returned back by the bailee to the bailor. 163, increase, goods bailed, increase. Next, 164, responsible, not entitled, responsible. The bailor is responsible to the bailee if he was not entitled to make any bailment or to receive back the goods or to give the directions. I repeat, if the bailee suffers any loss due to the fact that the bailor was not entitled to make bailment or to receive back the goods or to give any directions which he has given, then the bailor should compensate the bailee. 164, responsible, not entitled, responsible. Let's recall one more time. Okay. 148, bailment. 149, delivery. 150, duty. 151, Keru. OP, Keru. 152, bailee. Not liable, bailee. 153, terminate. Inconsistent, terminate. 154, usage. Unauthorized usage. 155, mixture with consent, mixture. 156, mixture without consent, mixture. 157, mixture inseparable, mixture. La 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 la. 158 to 160, Repay, restore, return. La 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 la. 161 responsible, not returned responsible. 162 death, gratuity as death. 163 increase, goods failed, increase. 164 responsible, not entitled responsible. La 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 la. 165 to 171. WTF CLL. JWTF CLL. JWTF. What the fish. JWTF CLL. 165 to 171. 165 joint owners. JWTF CLL. In case of joint owners, if there are more than one bailer, then the bailee can deliver back to one of the joint owner. For this, I have given an example in the question bank. Please refer to it. So, in case of joint owners, the bailee can deliver back the goods to one of the joint owner. Then 166 without title. If the bailor has no title and if the bailee delivers the goods in good faith, then the bailee is not responsible to the true owner. Why? Because he acted in what faith? A good faith. J, joint owner. W, without title. Then T, third person. If other than the bailor, if anybody claims the goods, if a third party claims the goods other than the bailor, in that scenario, the bailee can apply to the court to decide the title and they can deliver the goods later as per the instructions of the court. Okay, next one, F, section number 168, finder of goods. So how to remember this, sir? See, section number 68 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 deals with what? Quasi contract. Finder of lost goods is also what? One of the quasi contracts. So here it is 168. So finder of goods, important. They may ask questions based on this. No right to sue for compensation for trouble and expenses he has incurred voluntarily. I repeat, the finder of lost goods is also considered as bailee and he does not have a right to sue for recovery of compensation for trouble and expenses he has incurred. But however, he can exercise the lien. It means he can retain the goods until unless he receives the compensation. I repeat, section number 168 provides the provision with respect to finder of goods. So the finder of lost good, that is the bailee, does not have a right to sue for compensation for the trouble and expenses he has incurred. However, he can retain the goods till he receives the compensation. But if there is any reward offered for the finder of lost goods, that for the recovery of the reward, he can file a suit and he can also retain the goods. But for compensation for trouble and expenses he has incurred, he cannot file a suit against the bailor or the person who has lost or the true owner of the goods. Okay. Then JWTF CLL. What is C? 169 common for sale. If the goods lost is common for sale, generally for sale, and if the true owner could not be found with reasonable diligence, or if he is found but he refuses to pay lawful charges, then the finder may sell it. Generally, the finder of lost goods cannot sell it. He has to return the goods back to whom? To the bailor. But however, if the goods found is commonly for a sale and the bailor could not be found, or even if he is found but if he refuses to pay the lawful charges, in that scenario, the finder of the goods may sell it. Who can sell it? The finder may sell it if it is what goods? A perishable goods, or if the lawful charges incurred by him amounts to how much? Two-thirds of the value of goods. If these two conditions are to be satisfied, any one condition, either the goods are perishable or the lawful charges amounts to how much? Two-thirds of the value of the goods. Okay. Then 1670 lien, particular lien. So the bailee, if he has exercised any skill and labor over the goods, then he has a particular lien. Particular lien means where the party can keep the goods on which he has exercised the skill and labor. So bailee in general, he has the particular lien. Then there is one more lien, that 171 lien, a general lien. General lien means a person can keep any of the goods with him for the general balance of accounts. And this is available for the bankers, factorers, wharfingers, attorneys, and policy brokers, mainly the mercantile agent, that is the business agents. This is the quick revision of contract of bailment. Contract of bailment. So if they ask any question based on these section numbers, you guys can write in the examinations. You have to quote the keywords while writing the answers in the examinations. So one last time, let's recall the section numbers, then we'll go to the contract of pledge. Okay. 148 bailment, 149 delivery, 150 duty, 151 Keru, OP Keru, 152 Bailee, not liable Bailee, 153 terminate, inconsistent terminate, 154 usage, unauthorized usage, 155 mixture, with consent mixture, 156 mixture, without consent mixture, 157 mixture, inseparable mixture, la 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 la, 158 to 160, repay, restore, return, la 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 la. 161 responsible, not returned responsible. 162 death, gratuitous death. 163 increase, goods bail increase. 164 responsible, not entitled responsible. La 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 la. 165 to 171. JWTFCLL la 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 la. So section number 172 to 181 provides the provisions with respect to contract of pledge. And for this acronym is PR से DR MLA नहीं है MLWA. PR से DR MLWA 172 to 181. This is the acronym, okay? PR से DR MLWA. So now first section number 172 provides the definition of what? Pledge. So what is pledge? It's the bailment of goods. That is, there is a delivery of goods as a what? Security for two purposes, either for the payment of debt or for the performance of a promise. That is called as a contract of pledge. I repeat, section number 172 provides that pledge is the bailment of goods as a security for the payment of a debt or the performance of a promise. Section number 170. Then 173 provides that the pledgee has a right to retain the goods for the payment of debt or the performance of promise, and also for payment of interest and all necessary expenses of the for preservation of the goods. I repeat, section number 173 provides that the pledgee has a right to retain the goods for the payment of debt and also for the performance of promise, as well as the interest and all necessary expenses incurred by the pledgee for preservation of the goods. Section number 174 provides the provision with respect to subsequent debt. The pledgee has the right to retain the goods even for the subsequent debt advanced by him to the pledger, provided the right has been conferred in the contract or if it is mentioned in the contract. I repeat, the pledgee can keep the goods for the subsequent debt if it is mentioned in the contract of pledge. Then section number 175 provides a provision with respect to extraordinary expenses. See, for normal expenses, the pledgee can keep the goods. But for recovery of extraordinary expenses, the pledgee cannot keep the goods. But he can file a case against the pledger. I repeat, if the pledgee incurs any extraordinary expenses for the preservation of a goods pledged, then he doesn't have a right to retain the goods, but he only has a right to file a suit. Then section number 176, a default on default. If the pledger fails to make the payment of debt or performance or promise, what pledgee can do? He can file a suit, plus he can retain the goods unless until he gets the court order. Or what he can do? He can sell the goods by giving a reasonable notice. Notice is must. Pledgee must give a notice to the pledger that he's gonna resell. And after giving a notice, he can resell the goods. On the resale, if he make any loss, that he can recover it from the pledger, but if he makes any profit, he must return it back to the owner. Okay. Then we have R, that is rights of the pawner. The pawner has the same rights that of a bailor. That of a whom? That of a bailor. So he can redeem the goods before sale. So before the sale happens, by making the payment of debt, he can recover the goods back. Let's say he defaulted. Till he can recover the goods back by making the payment of what? Debt before the sale. But if he goes after the sale, he cannot recover it back. So the pledger or the pawner has the right to recover the goods back before the sale. So PR से DR, MLA नहीं है, MLWA, MLWA. So what is that? Section number 170, 178, 179 deals with this pledge by non-owners. Okay. So one is mercantile agent. If a person having possession of the goods, if he is a mercantile agent plus having possession of the goods, a document of title, and if he is acting in good, if he pledges the goods to a person having acting in good faith, then the pledge is valid even if the pledger has contravened the order of the true owners. Okay, same like section number 27 of the Sale of Goods Act, sale by non-owners. So here it is pledged by non-owners. Mercantile agent is acting against the instructions of the principal, but however, because he has possession of the goods or document of title and the pledge is acting in good faith, the pledge is valid. Second one is section number 179 L, that is limited interest. If a person having limited interest means he has right only to certain extent, let's say out of property of 1 lakh rupees, a person has interest up to the extent of 50,000 rupees. So the pledge is valid to the extent of 50k. Clear? Next one is then we have other scenarios also where a non-owner can pledge. That is in case of voidable contract, the person who is having possession of the goods under the voidable contract can pledge. Then pledge by estoppel. Then pledge by in case of seller after having possession of the goods and buyer obtaining possession of the goods before sale. So all those are valid and we have discussed those things in detail in the class. Next, W, section number 180. In case of bailment, if anybody does try to do anything against the goods, that is, if a person try to set a wrong title against the goods, the bailee or the bailor can file a case against the wrongdoer. Section number 180 provides that if any person tried to set a wrong title to the goods bailed, either the bailee or bailor can file a case against them, and whatever the compensation they recover or get by filing a suit under section number 180, that has to be apportioned according to the ownership of the bailor and bailee, or according to the rights of bailor and bailee. Okay, section number 180 and 181. 180 provides the right to file a suit against the wrongdoer, and 181 provides the apportionment of a relief. And these are the provisions with respect to contract of pledge. Okay, so one last time, let's recall the section numbers so that you guys can remember the provisions too. Okay, so 148 bailment, 149 delivery, 150 duty, 151 Keru, OP Keru, 152 Bailee, not liable Bailee, 153 terminate, inconsistent terminate, 154 usage, unauthorized usage, 155 mixture with consent mixture, 156 mixture without consent mixture, 157 mixture, inseparable mixture. La 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 la. 158 to 160, repay, restore, return. And again, la 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 la. 161 responsible, not return responsible. 162 death, gratuity as death. 163 increase, goods bail increase. 164 responsible, not entitled responsible. La 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 la. 652171. JWTFCLL, la 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 la, then 170 to 181, Pierce Deer MLWA, la ra 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 ra. So let's start now the RTP and MTPs and previous year questions of bailment and pledge. Okay. Section number 148, you know what is 148? Bailment of goods. So there is a question asked in RTP CA Inter 2021. Mrs. Shriya delivered her silver jewelry to Yash as a goldsmith for the purpose of making a new silver bowl out of it. So some work to be done on the silver jewelry. Every evening she used to receive the unfinished goods to put it in the box and kept at Mr. Yash's shop. She kept the key of that box with herself. So because she is keeping the key of the box with herself, it means there is no delivery of goods. So if there is no delivery of goods, is there any bailment? No. The answer is what? There is no bailment. See how to present the answer. You have to write section number 148 defines the word what? Bailment, delivery of goods by one person to another person. That is what we discussed. Correct, right? So 148. Thus, Mr. Mere keeping of the box at S shop when Mrs. Shriya herself took away the key cannot amount to delivery. So there is no contract of bailment. Correct, right? Then on the basis of reward, what are the various categories of bailment? On the basis of reward, we can classify them to gratuitous, non-gratuitous. If it is with consideration, non-gratuitous, without consideration, gratuitous. Next one, in a bailment, there is a transfer of possession right forever. Is it correct? No. So the bailment is done for a specific purpose, and once the purpose is accomplished, it must be returned back. So the answer is incorrect. State whether the following will amount to bailment or not. Placing of ornament in the bank locker, does it amount to bailment? The answer is no. Why? Because in case of locker also you have the key with yourself. So there is no delivery of goods. Okay. Uh, Next one, placing of a deposit of money in the bank. No, why? Because money is not a goods. V parks his car at a parking lot, locks it, and keep the key with himself. No delivery again, not a bailment. Seizure of goods by custom authority. It is a valid bailment. Why? Because there is a delivery of goods involved. So even though it is involuntary bailment, because there is a delivery, it is considered as what? A bailment. Okay. Next one, question number 5. Examine whether the following constitute a contract of bailment under the provisions of Indian Contract Act 1872. Vikas parks his car at a parking lot, locks it, and keep the key. Answer is no. Seizure of goods by custom authorities. The answer is yes. So you just have to remember the section number 148. Write the definition, and then you write your answers, and you will write a perfect answer. See, this is the answer which I say expect. That is what we discussed with the help of the short notes, and I don't find any reasons for not giving the marks in the examinations. 149 delivery. There must be a delivery of goods, and delivery can be of how many types? Two types, actual as well as the constructive. They have added one more here, that is symbolic, that is as per the sale of goods act. Okay. Here the Bailor pledges the cinema projector and the other accessories with the Cine Association Cooperative Bank Limited, the Bailee, for a loan. A requests the bank to allow the pledged goods to remain in possession and promises to hold the same in trust for the Bailee. The moment he holds the trust as a Bailee, then it means there is a what delivery? There is a constructive delivery. Okay. So is the bailment valid? Yes, it is a valid bailment. See, constructive in nature. Next one, 150. A hires a carriage of B and agrees to pay 500 as a hire charges. So is it for a reward? Yes. So A is the Bailee and B is the Bailor. The carriage is unsafe, though B is unaware of it. So if it is a non-gratuitous bailment, is the bailor responsible to compensate the bailee for fault in the goods? Yes, whether he is aware of it or whether he is not aware of it. Section number kya hai? 150. We discuss section number 150, right? 152 duty. If there is any fault, he has to disclose it. In case of gratuitous bailment, he is responsible only if he is aware of it. If it is non-gratuitous bailment, he is aware of even if he is not aware of it. Then question number 2. A lends his horse who he knew to be vicious to B. So if there is any fault in the goods which materially interfere with the usage of goods by the bailee, or if it cause harm to the bailee, then who is responsible? Bailor is responsible to bailee. Then 151, Keru, OP care. What is OP care? Ordinary prudence. A man of ordinary prudence will take care of his own goods of the same value, same quantity, and the same bulk under the similar circumstances. Okay. Ashley bails his jewelry with Barn on the condition to safeguards in bank's safe locker. However, Barn kept in a safe locker at his residence. So is he violating the instructions of the bailee here? Yes, he should take care of the goods as per the instruction of whom? Bailee, because he has violated the instructions of the bailor. He has not taken the reasonable care. So then who is responsible here? The Barn is liable. Okay. Next one, question number 2. The temple trust entrusted valuable gold jewelry to Archaka, the priest of the temple, for decorating and adorning the goddess. The key to the temple was also with the priest, means the priest has the possession of the goods. However, the jewels were lost. So is the priest responsible here? The answer is absolutely yes. The temple jewels have been lost at the time when the priest was properly in the custody of as the bailee. So the priest is responsible to the one who has delivered it. A customer went to the restaurant to dine there. When he entered the restaurant, a waiter, without being asked for the help, took his coat. The waiter who worked in the restaurant hung the coat on a hook behind the customer. When the customer rose to leave, the coat was no longer there on the hook. So who is responsible here? Bailee. He took there is a delivery, right? The possession is transferred. So what are the consequences? Who is responsible? The hotel authorities are responsible. Okay. The restaurant keeper was held responsible for the loss of the food. Then 152. What is 152? 151 care, OP care. 152 bailee, not responsible bailee. If the bailee has taken the reasonable care of a man of ordinary prudence, then the bailee is not responsible. Correct, right? A bails his jewelry with B on a condition to safeguard in the bank's safer lock. However, B kept in a safe locker at his restaurant residence. Is the Bailee responsible? Yes, he is responsible. Why? Because he has not taken the OPK. Next one, 153. Terminate, inconsistent terminate. If the Bailee make use of the goods, which is inconsistent in the terms of the bailment, then what is the consequences? The contract becomes voidable at the option of the bailer. Then 154. Usage, unauthorized usage. If the bailee make use of the goods in an unauthorized way, and if there is any loss to the goods made, who is supposed to compensate whom? Bailee to the bailer. A hires a carriage of B and agrees to pay 500 as a hire charges. The carriage is unsafe, though B is unaware of it. So if it is a non-gratuitous bailment, who is responsible? Bailee is responsible. Correct, right? Uh, so this question should actually come in this one duty. Okay. What is the liability of a bailee making the unauthorized use of the goods? Section number 154. Write section number and write the provisions. Okay. A lends a horse to B for his own riding only, but B allows C, a member of his family, to use it. Unauthorized usage, bailee is responsible. 155 mixture with consent mixture. They will have the interest respectively. Bailee has no right to mix the goods bailed with his own goods without the consent of bailer. Is it true or false? Absolutely, sir, it is true. 156 mixture with consent mixture. Then whatever the expenses happens, incurred and loss happened, who should bear it? Bailee should bear it. 157 mixture without consent mixture, and it is not possible to separate. Okay, and this question was asked in the, all these questions were asked in the CA Inter, either RTP, MTPs or previous year questions. Okay. 157, Amar bailed 50 kg of high quality sugar to Srijit, who owned a kirana shop, promising to give 200 at the time of taking back the bailed goods. Srijit, employee unaware of this, mixed the 50 kg of sugar belonging to the Amar with the sugar in the shop and packed it for the sale when Srijit was away. This came to the light only when Amar came asking for the sugar. So, is it possible to separate the sugar? No. And who suffered the loss here? The bailer has suffered the loss. So, who is supposed to compensate? The bailee is supposed to compensate. Then section number 158, 158 to 160, repay, restore, return. Correct, right? Repay, who should repay? The bailer should repay all necessary expenses as well as extraordinary expenses incurred by the bailee if the bailment was gratuitous bailment and for the benefit of bailer. Correct, right? This question is based on case study. Okay. One Metal Fabs India Private Limited was the consignee of 7 cartons of ball bearings which landed in the port of Bombay on 5th of February 1972, having been carried by a vessel SS President Madison. The last free date for clearance of the said goods was 10th of February 1972. As the goods remained uncleared for a period of over 2 months from the date of landing, the port of Bombay, by notice dated 11th of May 1975, again informed the consignee that the goods were lying uncleared in the warehouse, and if the same were not cleared within 10 days on the payment of charges thereof, the same would be sold by public auction. In the absence of any action on the part of consignee, after making further correspondence, the Port of Bombay sold the goods in the public auction on the 2nd of September 1972 and realized the amount of only 62,000. The port authorized authorities found that after deduction of the due amount, such as port charges, custom duty, etc., an amount of 4752 was still due and payable to them. So, can they recover it from the bailer? Absolutely yes, because they kept the goods for the benefit of whom? Bailer. And whatever the expenses incurred by them, they can recover it from whom? From the bailer. Okay. So, this question may come either in the bailment of pledges or in the bailment itself. Okay. Next one, but 159. Repay, return, restore. Correct, right? So the bailee shall return the goods back whenever the bailer demands, if it is a gratuitous bailment. But however, the expenses incurred by the bailee or the loss suffered by the bailee for premature termination is more than the benefit he has received, then bailer is supposed to compensate the bailee. Okay. A has lent his car to his friend B at a no cost for 7 days. B filled the car with petrol worth 7,000. A now wants to take back his car within how many days? 2 days of delivery. Can he do so? And what are the remedies are available to Mr. B? Yes, however, A shall indemnify whom? B for damages that exceeds the actual benefit received by A from the goods. 160 return. Who shall return the goods back? The Bailee shall return the goods back after the time expires or after the purpose is accomplished. Sunil delivered his car to Mahesh for repairs. Mahesh completed the work but did not return the car to Sunil within a what time? A reasonable time. So anything happens to the car, who is responsible? Bailee only responsible. Here the car was destroyed. Who is responsible? In this case, Mahesh is liable for the loss. That is Bailee. 162, 161 responsible, not entitled, responsible. If the bailior was not entitled to make bailment or to give any instructions or to receive the goods back, and then who is supposed to compensate who? Bailor to the bailee. Rajneesh gives his umbrella to Megha during rainy season to be used for 2 days during examinations. Megha keeps the umbrella for a week. While going to Rajneesh's house to return the umbrella, Megha accidentally slips and the umbrella is badly damaged. Discuss as per the provisions of Contract Act 1872, who bear the loss of damaged umbrella and why? According to section number 161, if any default of the bailee, the goods are not returned or delivered or tendered at a proper time, then who is responsible? Bailee is responsible to the bailor. Okay, so in this case, who has to bear the losses? Megha should bear the losses. See, they ask this kind of tricky questions. You should be thorough with this. And this question was in the April 2018 RTP CA Inter. 162. Mr. CSR delivered a gold necklace to Anushka, which she was planning to wear at the International Film Festival, scheduled to happen in the next 15 days. Within 2 days of the delivery, CSR died in a mysterious way. See, in case of death of any bailer or bailee, in case of gratuitous bailment, what happens? The bailment comes to an end. Then what happened? Both his wife, that is CSR's wife and Anushka, are in a shock. Immediately on the fifth day, CSR wife filed a lawsuit against Anushka to recover the gold necklace. Will she succeed? Absolutely, she will succeed because the necklace belongs to her now. And this question is not a creation of CSR. These are all based on case studies. See what I've just changed the names. That's it. All the questions either based on case studies or CA inter questions or CMA questions are the questions which are asked in the LLB examinations. Okay. 163. Megha lends a sum of 20,000 to Beam on security of 2 shares of Prema Limited. That is, again, I gave this example, will explain in the provision itself. Any accretion happens, increase happens, should be returned by the bailee to the bailor. Important. So, in this case, any bonus shares issued should belongs to whom? To the bailor himself. Clear? Next one. 164. A gives his car to B, and when B drives the car at a signal, the police will stop her and check her papers. 164 responsible, not entitled, responsible. Correct, right? The papers will not belong to A. Means A was not entitled to make bailment because he was not the owner. Because of this, who suffered the loss? Bailee suffered the loss. Who's supposed to compensate? Bailor should compensate the bailee. 165. 165. J. The acronym will come, right? JWTFCLL, joint bailers. If there are more than one bailer, the goods can be delivered to any one of the joint bailer. Okay, so there is a question. Rajesh and Anushka carried on business in partnership and were the owners of the 2 motor trucks bearing the number CSR1, CSR2. The firm entered into a contract with Virat for the hiring out of these trucks to the Virat for rupees 17 per day per truck. And the agreement was terminable on the 1 month's notice by either side. The truck were delivered. Later, Anushka gave notice terminating the agreement and attended the stipulated place to collect the trucks after the expiry of 1 month. The trucks were delivered by Virat to Deepika, one of the old partners. How can you give it to one of the old partners? See, Rajesh and Anushka are the joint owners. It can be delivered to either Rajesh or to Anushka, not to Deepika. So does Anushka have a right to demand the goods without the consent of CSR? Yes, because she is one of the joint owner. But is Virat action legally tenable? No. If not, please provide the remedies available to them so they can recover compensation from the Virat. And this is based on case study. Okay. 166. I could not find any questions for section number 166. That is third party. JW without title. Next one, section number, you can also write section number 164 for that purpose. 167, Mr. CSR sent goods to the common carrier to be delivered by Mr. Rambabu Mr. CSR was supposed to deliver only 2 bales of cotton, but due to a mistake, the consignment note indicated 15 bales of cotton. Taking advantage of Mr. CSR mistake, Mr. Rambabu accepted delivery of the consignment in the Gaya. Immediately after receiving the goods, Mr. Rambabu booked them for transportation to Ranchi and consignment note was issued. Subsequently, Mr. CSR sent a telegram requesting the common carrier not to deliver the goods. What should be the suitable course of action for the common carrier? If two parties claim, then the party can apply to the court to decide the title. WTF. Now, what is section number 168? Finder of lost goods. Section number 168, finder of lost goods. What are the rights available to him? हम लोग discuss किया था. What are the rights available to the finder of lost goods? 169, common for sale. The Bailee can sell it if it is commonly held for sale. 170, Mr. Dansheth delivers a rough blue sapphire to a jeweler to be cut and polished. The jeweler carries out the job accordingly. However, now Mr. Dansheth refuses to make the payment. If he refuses to make the payment, the Bailee can keep it unless until what is done? Payment is done. This is called as what lien? A particular lien. A Bailee has what lien? A particular lien. Okay. Question number 2, delivered the shopkeeper to repair a watch on the payment of 100. Subsequently, the shopkeeper refused to repair it for the 100 and also claimed to retain the watch until he is paid for the work done. Decide the right of G by examining the provision. So in this case, it is clearly expressed by the shopkeeper to repair the watch for only how much? 100 rupees. However, later he refusal to repair the watch, does not complete the work for which he has promised, and therefore he loses his right to exercise the particular lien. Most important question, only if he has completed the work which he has assigned to, then he can keep it. Clear? So because he has not completed the work and he is demanding the more money, he will not have a right of lien. The Bailor can take the goods back. Okay. 161 lien. What lien? A general lien. What lien? A general lien. And who has a general lien? A banker has a general lien. Okay. Radhesham borrowed a sum of 50,000 from the bank on the security of gold on 1st July 2019 under an agreement which contains a clause that the bank shall have a right of particular lien on the goods pledged with it. Radhesham thereafter took an unsecured loan of 20,000 from the same bank on 1st August 2019 for 3 months. On 30th of September 2019, he repaid the entire secured loan of 50,000 and requested the bank to release the gold pledge with it. The bank decided to continue the lien on the gold until unsecured loan is fully paid. So only if it is mentioned in the contract, they can claim the what? General lien. Okay. So general lien means what? The lien which is available for the general balance of account. Okay. So the banker under an agreement has a right to particular lien on the goods pledged, but accordingly, bank decision to continue the lien on the gold until the unsecured loan is not valid. Why? Because it is not mentioned in the contract. If it was mentioned in the contract, they can exercise the general lien. So these are the questions which were asked in the previous RTPs, MTPs, and previous year questions of ICI Enter examination. Then we have pledge. Section number 172 defines the pledge. Correct, right? And first question was definition of pledge, pawner and pawnee, essentials of contract of pledge. A film producer borrowed 1 crore from a financier distributor and agreed to deliver the final prints of the film when ready. Is this a pledge? No. Why? Because it is not delivered. Only when the delivery happens, it is considered as a pledge. 173. Mr. Avinash wanted a loan for expanding his business from ABC Bank. Mr. Avinash has pledged the stock of his business to obtain the loan from the bank. However, the expansion of business did not reap the desired results. Mr. Avinash was not able to repay the loan. Now, ABC Bank want to retain the stock for the adjustment of their loan. Advise ABC Bank whether they can retain the stock for the adjustment of their loan and also for the payment of interest. Obviously, they have a right even for what? Interest. Okay. And also necessary expenses, but not for extraordinary expenses. Same thing, one more question is there. You guys can go through it. Next one, 174. A cinema projector and accessories were pledged with the bank by Mr. CSR for a loan of 50,000 with additional 5,000 interest and 5,000 for necessary expenses to preserve the right pledged goods. Further, he took an additional loan of 50,000 from the same bank. Decide the rights of the pawnee's right of retention. So, in the absence of contract to the effect, he can retain the goods pledged for any debt, promise other than the debt or a promise for which they are pledged, but such contract in the absence of anything to the contrary shall be presumed in regard to subsequent advances made by the pawnee. Thus, the pawnee has the right to retain the goods pledged until his dues are paid, that is 55 plus 5. Bank can also exercise the particular lien on the goods pledged for a subsequent of advance of how much? 50,000 rupees if it is particularly mentioned in the contract. 175, no question. 176, state with the reason whether the following statements are correct or incorrect. If the pawner makes a default in the payment of debt or the performance of duty as agreed, the pawnee has a right to sell the thing pledged for which no reasonable notice of the sale is required. Is it correct? The answer is incorrect. In case of default in the payment of pawner, the pawnee has a right to sell the goods after giving what notice? A reasonable notice. 177, A gave his watch to be as a security against 800 rupees, that is 2. They agreed that amount should be repaid within 1 month. A fails to do so. Under what circumstances A can redeem the watch from Mr. A? That is only after payment of money. Simple question. 178, Ravi sent a consignment of goods worth of 60,000 by railway. So he has an interest of 60,000 and got railway receipt. He obtained an advance of 30,000 from the bank and endorsed and delivered the railway receipt in favor of the bank. So bank has an interest to the extent of 30,000. The railway failed to deliver the goods at the destination. The bank filed a suit against the railway for 60,000. Decide in the light of provisions of the Indian Contract Act 1872. If the bank recovers the compensation of 60,000, then how it is to be appropriated? Then out of 60,000, it should be divided in what ratio? 6 into equal, that is 30 into 30. It was 3 is to 3 means what? 1 is to 1. So 30,000 rupees goes to the owner and 30,000 rupees goes to the bank. Okay, yes. Srishti acquired valuable diamonds at a very low price by a voidable contract under a provision of the Indian Contract Act 1872. The voidable contract was not rescinded. Srishti pledged the diamond with VK. Is this valid pledge under the Indian Contract Act 1872? The answer is yes. Why? Because sale under a voidable contract is valid. In the same way, a pledge under the voidable contract is valid if the Bailee is acting in, pledge is acting in good faith. 179, A pledge his share worth of 1 lakh to SBI Bank to collateral for an advance of 70,000. SBI Bank then pledges the same shares to ICICI Bank for 90,000. To what extent the pledge is valid? It is valid up to the extent of how much? 70,000. That is limited interest. Okay. 180, filing up suit against the wrongdoer. So in this case, same question is repeated here, but that is the bank has the interest up to how much? 30,000 rupees. Correct, right? So they will recover the compensation of how much? 30,000. Remaining 30k goes to whom? To the Ravi. Next question. X sent a consignment a mobile phone worth of 60,000 rupees to Y and obtained a railway receipt therefore, and he also borrowed 40,000 rupees. So bank has interest worth of 40,000 rupees and remaining 20k belongs to whom? To the true owner. Same thing, apportionment of compensation recovered. So these are the questions which were asked in the previous RTPs, MTPs and previous year questions.